Hey guys, welcome back to Algebra 1. Today we're going to be learning how to solve polynomial equations. Most of these equations are going to be factored for you, but we're going to get introduced to factoring today. Don't worry, it's only greatest common factor that we're going to be talking about. Alright? So, first thing we need to talk about is factors form. It's the polynomial written by its factors. See all these polynomials right here? These guys are written in factored form. All right. Okay, so there you have that. And then, the way we're going to be solving polynomial equations by factoring is using the zero product property. So, first thing I need you to know is that all polynomial equations that we solve must be set equal to 0 before we try and solve them. All of them, okay? And so we use the zero product property to find the solution. So if the product of two real numbers is 0, then at least one of the numbers is 0. All right? And then another name for the polynomial equation is roots, or zeros. All right? So let's get started. So here's your first equation. We have 2x times x minus 4. It's going to be set equal to 0. So notice there are two different parts with variables. We have 2x, and we're multiplying that by x minus 4. Yeah, x minus 4. And so using the zero product property, if we were to set these equal to 0, then we can find the x value, set each chunk equal to 0, then we can find the x value that can make each of the one of these terms 0. Okay, so here's how it works. We simply split up into two different parts. So it's going to be 2x equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. All right, and then we have x equals 0 and 4. Pretty easy, guys. All right. Why don't you try this one out? X minus 3 times x minus 9 equals 0. Already in factored form, so you just need to use the zero product property to solve. Okay, so you should have set it into two different chunks. So it's going to be x minus, whatever, x minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 9 equals 0. And then you should have the following answers. X equals 3 and 9. Alright. And try this one. 2x plus 7 times 2x minus 7 equals 0. Okay, so we got ourselves two different parts again, so we can set each chunk equal to 0. And then we continue working. So 2x equals negative 7, or I should probably put an or there. Or 2x equals positive 7. Then your following answer should be this. Negative 3.5 or positive 3.5. Alright. How about this one, right? Oh, should probably do the page break. Alright, so what about this one right here? Well, the thing is that you can write x minus 1 squared as like this. Now notice what we got here. We got two different chunks again, but this time they're the exact same thing. So really we're just going to have one solution and not two. This is what we call repeated roots. And so if we have a square, cube, or some other power of a binomial in the form x minus a constant, x or plus or minus a constant, then you really just got one chunk to solve. Okay, so So that makes it less work rate. So we just say x equals 1 here. And that's our only solution to the equation. Alright? Now take a look at this one. Same thing, but with with 3 parts, not 2 or 1. Okay, so try it out. See what you get. Okay, so let's try it out. So we set each chunk equal to 0, x plus 1 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. Then we solve each of them. So x equals negative 1, or x equals 3, and x equals negative 1, 2, 3. Alright, that was pretty easy, guys. But now we're going to be introducing into factoring. So we're just going to start off pretty basic today, okay, by just looking at greatest common factor. Okay, so what we do is to factor some of the most basic polynomials is that we take the greatest common factor of both the coefficients and the variables, factor that out, and then take what's left. Okay, so let's try it out. So 4x to the 4th plus 24x cubed. Alright, so the first thing we need to determine is what is the greatest common factor of the coefficients 4 and 24. Well, if you take a look here, it's 24. You can take 24 divided by 4 to get a whole number. So, and then 4 is 4. So your greatest common factor of the coefficient should be 4. And then for your variables for the greatest common factor, you take the smallest degree. And that smaller degree is x cubed. And then we write out the rest. We should put in x, because 4x cubed times x equals 4x to the 4th, and then x plus 6. Because 4x cubed plus 6 is 24x cubed. Times 6 is 24x cubed. Okay, that's how we factor with greatest common factor. Why don't you try this one out? 8y squared minus 24y. Pause the video and factor this out using the greatest common factor. Don't solve it, just factor. Okay, so let's try it out. So first thing we take a look at is the coefficient of the coefficients. 8 goes into 24 in 3 times, that's a whole number. 8 goes into 8 one time, that's another whole number. I say our greatest common factor is 8. And then we take the smallest degree of the variable, that's going to be y. And we take in the rest, because 8y minus 3. Because 8y times y is 8y squared. 8y times negative 3 is negative 24y. Alright. Now we'll take a look at using it to solve equations. Okay, so let's try it out. So we have 2x squared plus 8x equals 0. So first thing we need to do before we can solve this is to try to factor this out. Now, so let's use the greatest common factor again. So we have 2x squared plus 8x. The coefficients are 2 and 8. 8 goes into 2 4 times, that's a whole number. 2 goes into 2 one time, that's another whole number. I'd say our coefficient, our greatest common factor is 2. Take the smallest degree and we get x. And then just write out the rest. Continue to set it equal to 0. Now we set each chunk equal to 0. So it's going to be 2x equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. And then we got two solutions. Negative 4 and 0. Amazing, right? Now, I want you to try this one out, but here's the deal. Remember what I said before? You have to set it equal to 0 before you can solve. Do not try and factor or solve this equation in any way, shape, or form until you set it equal to 0, okay? So pause the video, work this out on your own, and then come back once you solve this equation. Okay, so we need to set this thing equal to 0, and it's a pretty easy way to do it. It's going to be 6n squared minus 15n equals 0. Alright, now we can factor. So 6 goes into 15 2.5 times. That is not so 6 is not a factor of 15. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. There you have it. Greatest common factor of the coefficients is 3. Take the smallest degree and you get n. Then you just do the rest of the work. 2n minus 5. Set equals 0. Set each chunk equal to 0, and you get 3n equals 0, or 2n minus 5 equals 0. Then you solve each part. So it's going to be n equals 0 and 2.5. And that's it, guys. That's how we solve polynomial equations, and that's how we factor polynomials using the greatest common factor. Alright? So now we're going to get into some more advanced stuff. That's going to be coming in the next video, okay? So next time we're going to be learning how to factor quadratic trinomials. It's going to be very important once we get into our quadratics unit. It will help you to get an understanding of what we're trying to do to solve quadratic equations. That's going to be our last unit for Algebra 1. Okay, so next video we should be looking at factoring quadratic trinomials, and then factoring special products. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of your day. As a reminder, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Tell your friends about these videos that I'm working very hard to try and make. I want to provide a free resource that gives the best education possible with this one Google Doc format. Okay. Anyways, thanks so much for watching again, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you later.